Good morning, other instructional designers. I'm Mr. Hayden, and my lesson today is going to be about the U.S. government. And to give a brief overview of what the U.S. government is about and what really makes the government work and what a law is. So we're going to discuss how a bill becomes a law and what a bill is. So in order to kick it off with a little instruction, first I'm going to ask you what makes our classroom work. You know, we have rules that we have to abide by. We have these set of rules that makes the classroom work. We have people in charge, such as myself, and we've got the citizens, such as you all, who we're here to make the world go round. But in this case, the world would be our classroom. So, as we start off, here is the first branch of our government. This is the executive branch. The executive branch consists of the president. So right now, our president is President Barack Obama, but we have a new president coming in January, Mr. Donald Trump. Unless there's some recount that happens, we'll see. But the president right now, Mr. Obama, has cabinet members, and his cabinet members are made up of the secretaries that he has appointed: the Secretary of State, Secretary of Commerce, of Agriculture. There are many secretaries that he has, and these are the cabinet members. The secretaries make up the cabinet members. So all of these two together, the president and the cabinet members, they consist of what we say is enforcing the laws. They're the ones who, they don't make the laws and they don't judge to see if the laws are abiding by our Constitution. They just are responsible for, quote, enforcing the laws. So, even in our own state government of North Carolina, we have governor currently, it's Pat McCrory, and so it is the same type right now. So Pat McCrory is in charge of our state government, while President Obama is in charge of our federal government. That would be what they're in charge of. They are in charge of enforcing the laws. The second branch of government is our legislative branch. Now, the legislative branch is made up of two houses. We have the House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, let's start with the House of Representatives. They are the ones who are elected by the state. Both of these are elected by the citizens of their state. And the House of Representatives there's more of them because they are based off of the population. So California is our most populous state, which is why they have 55, I believe. They have 55 House Representatives. Now that's a lot. Actually, they have a little less. That's the Electoral College is how much it is. We won't talk about the Electoral College today. We don't need to do that. But today, the House of Representatives is made up of more than our Senate, and our House is elected by population. So depending on how many people we have in our population in our state, that's how many officials we elect. And our Senate is made up of just two. We have two senators for every state. So every state has the same and equal representation. So even smaller states have the same representation as bigger states. So California, as I said earlier, has more people in its state versus, say Rhode Island, our smallest by land size state. So both Rhode Island has two senators and California has two senators. So pretty interesting, right? So they are responsible They are responsible for creating the laws. So they write up a bill, they draft the bill, they meet in committees, and they talk about that. But we won't get into that right now. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, the third branch of government is our judicial branch. They are the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeals, district courts. So our Supreme Court is elected. They are not elected, sorry. They are appointed by our elected president. So currently President Obama, I believe, has put in 2 of our Supreme Court judges, and there is a spot open that President-elect Trump will fill, and possibly some more as they come along, but they serve for life. I didn't even mention the other term limits. So term limits for president is 2 terms for 4 years, and then for House, it's 2 years for as many terms as they like, and Senate is 6 years for as many terms as they like. And that's not going to be on any test or anything, so we don't have to worry about that. But just for your information. So our branches of government, we're currently on our judicial branch, and their responsibility is to interpret the laws. So they're the ones who, after the legislative branch, the House and the Senate, they write up a bill, they pass it, the president signs it, then they go and make sure that the law is following the Constitution. So if it does not follow the Constitution, they say, oh, sorry guys, you got to cancel this law, it's not going to work. It doesn't follow what we set up earlier in our government. So as the Supreme Court, they are appointed by our president, and they are appointed for life, but they have to be approved by the House of Representatives. So, and now we get to go into checks and balances. So, as I said earlier, we have our 3 branches of government. Now, here is a graph that will help you guys. So, let's start with our executive branch. It's our president, and he has powers over the other branches, but he also has powers that can cancel out his powers. So let's start with this one on the left, the veto. So our president, if the legislative branch passes a bill and he doesn't like the bill, he can veto the bill, which means he does not have to sign it into law. He can say, all right, that's not going to work, let's draft it back up and redo it. But the legislative branch can override the veto with a 2/3 vote. So 66% of the House and Senate, they can override the president's veto. So we have a check and we have a balance, and they can cancel each other out. So it's kind of having power over somebody who has power over you. So everybody's on the equal plane. So our legislative branch over our government, our legislative branch has to approve the federal judges. So if President Trump brings somebody to the table and they say, oh, we're not so sure that he's going to be a good federal judge, they don't have to approve him. They can cancel his vote out. But the judicial branch can declare the laws that the legislative branch deems constitutional. The judicial branch can deem it unconstitutional. They don't have to sign it in. They can say that's not going to work. And our judicial branch over our government, the judicial branch can also declare presidential acts, such as we have what are called executive orders, which the president can basically do anything he wants almost. But the judicial branch can say that's unconstitutional. He's not allowed to do that. But our executive branch has the power to appoint judges. They also have the pardon power, which they can say this man is not guilty, even if a Supreme Court judge could say he is guilty. Or another judge. Not really the Supreme Court's going to do that. But he has the power to appoint the judges, as you see over here on the right. So he appoints the judges, but they can declare the law, or his act, unconstitutional if he does something that isn't good. But the judicial branch can declare laws unconstitutional for the legislative branch, and the legislative branch can approve judges. And the legislative branch can impeach the president, or they can override vetoes with 2/3 vote. And the executive branch can veto a bill. So that is the way that our government runs, and it makes everybody on the equal playing field. Everybody is equal, so no branch of government is more powerful than the other. That was the way that our forefathers set it up for us. Pretty neat, right? Now, the final thing that we're going to go over quickly is making a bill a law. Now, there's this video up here that I would show you. It's entitled "I'm Just a Bill" from Schoolhouse Rock. I'm not going to show you that. It's really good though on how it explains. So this is a very simplified version. So first we start with number 1. A bill is drafted. So a bill is written up. You write up a bill and you say this is how this is going to work. Number 2, after passing it through committee, the House votes on the bill. So it goes to the committee and they talk about it and they make some adjustments and they say, all right, what if we do this instead of this? And that's what the committee does. But then it goes to the House and they vote on it. So the House is our legislative branch made up of our population. So there's 435 House members that get to vote on this law, and it has to pass with a 51% majority. So if we do the math here, we need roughly 220 to get it there, a little less. But number 3, if the House has a majority of at least 51%, then the bill goes voted. It goes to vote in the Senate. The Senate also needs a 51% majority, so they need 51 senators because there's 2 senators from every state, and there are 50 states. 50 times 2 is 100, so there are 100 senators. So we need 51 senators. Sorry, my computer keeps messing up. Number 4, if the Senate has a majority, then the bill will go to the President, and the President can either sign it into law or he can veto. So, as I said earlier, he doesn't have to write it into law. He can say, no, I don't like that law, so I'm not going to sign it. And then, if the President decides to sign the law, it becomes a law. If he decides to veto, then it goes back to the Senate and the House, and they have to talk about it. Either they can rewrite it for what the President likes, or they can attempt to veto his veto with a 2/3 majority. Alright. And later on, there's going to be a student activity for you guys. So, we're going to pull out a piece of paper. Everybody get out a sheet of paper. We're going to get in our groups that you have assigned of 5. We're going to come up with a law for us to decide on in class. Now, make this law, make sure that it's something that we can all do. Every Tuesday is pizza day at lunch, something like that. And then tomorrow, or Friday, whenever we get to it, we're going to set up a pretend mock government, and we're going to pass a group's bill that you come up with. And whatever bill we pass is actually going to, we're going to do it in real life. So if you say, we want to have a pizza party next Friday, or an ice cream party next Friday, we're going to do it. All right? So I'm sure everybody's going to want to, but we're going to have assigned roles, and we're going to set up a government to where we vote on a law. And we're going to have a president, me, and we're going to have some other people to. You guys are going to be senators and everything. Alright, take about 10-15 minutes to do this. And that's the lesson. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I really enjoyed this class. It's taught me a lot. And just please have a good day. And again, I really enjoyed looking at some of your videos and learning more of what I can learn as an upcoming teacher. Thanks again. Alright. Have a great day.